Fellow Phobos action figure enjoyers as well as McFarlane lovers, welcome on in. This is Sprues and Studs, and in this action figure review, I am going to be taking a look at the very newly released Primaris Eliminator. So I am pretty low-key excited about this action figure just because the Eliminators are such an awesome unit in the Warhammer 40K world. I love their overall look as well as what they stand for. I love snipers. So I hope that McFarlane did this action figure justice, and there's only one way to find out: by diving into the review. Starting off with the head area on this Eliminator, the top of the head is bald and smooth as a chicken egg, but the Eliminator is dark skinned with some metal studs over here that are attached to the forehead to give this Marine a little bit more character. The Marine is sporting very prominent eyewear that is likely made to enhance vision. The lenses of the goggles are bright green, however they are rather flat looking. It would have been nice if McFarlane did some metallic paints over here to accentuate the flavor, but alas, they typically don't do this type of thing. The rest of the face is covered up by an asymmetrical respirator with a large filter that is present on the left side. And then finally, the head is obscured by this synthetic material that is made to use to simulate cloth. With regards to the pauldron and arms, there's really nothing much to see, especially on the right side. It's really of a quite flavorless piece of Phobos armor. On the left side, however, there is at least a screen-on Ultramarines U that has seen a lot of battle damage. Aside from that, there is a presence of a dulled gold trim on the outside of the pauldron. One thing that I actually do appreciate about McFarlane figures, aside from the price, is the weathering of the armor. So there is battle damage on the armor over here by the way of scratches and dings. So the chest area is clearly dominated by the cloak here and the golden clasp that affixes the cloak to the chest. There is also a texturized gray strap that runs from one corner of the chest to the other corner down here. And there's really nothing much to see here either. In the abdomen region, you can clearly see a highly texturized area that is between the plates of the armor. The waist, however, holy cow, there is actually some kind of iconography that is present on the side of the buckle, which is kind of a rare sight to see on a McFarlane action figure. There is a weathered golden skull with two bones sticking out from the skull. Attached to the skull are ribbons that actually have been weathered and shaded as well. I'm actually quite impressed that the scroll on the ribbon is engraved into the plastic. This rather low-key area could be one of the better areas on the figure. Aside from that, on the back there is a highly detailed pouch and a textured frag grenade. With the legs, the right thigh area sports a tiered pouch system that likely stores extra ammo for the Marine, I'm guessing. There is a fantastic texture with the pouch flaps and the straps too. The left thigh area on the other side is quite spicy with the addition of even more pouches. The longer pouches give me great textural sensation as I'm looking at it with a ton of creases and recesses. There are also 3 more smaller pouches at the bottom of the long pouches. I'll be honest with you, the rest of the legs seem to have almost like a dark black wash to it, especially on this side. That gives the legs a lot more depth. This might be actually a first for me to see on a McFarlane figure, unless I have forgotten this fact on other action figures. There, again, is the presence of battle damage that can be clearly seen, especially on the knee area here. The cloak is probably the singular most striking thing about this action figure. All the rest of the Marine action figures clearly do not have this piece of like polyester type material. It is draped over both of the shoulders of the Marine and pretty much obfuscates the back of the Phobos armor. The cloak is then secured to the Marine by the way of this monochrome golden seal that I mentioned. It also does not seem to be too removable. I really love the usage of the colors and the camouflage on this cloak because it's very realistic. There are areas of, black, grayish blue, as well as this dark navy type of color, which is outstanding in my opinion. So the cloak is actually 2 layers, as you can see right here, with the shorter layer sporting these silver-like clip attachments at the bottom, which I'm not exactly too sure what they're used for. So one quick note about the cloak, it does heavily restrict the motion of the arms, which is kind of understandable due to the nature of the construction of this cloak. So that is the body of this action figure. Now let's take a look at this bolt sniper rifle. So the shape or form of this sniper rifle, in all honesty, is quite superb. And as it should be, as it clearly is based off of the GW miniature. I'm really digging the realism of the scope up here, the padded stock on the back, as well as this massive, very imposing silencer. The whole entire rifle looks menacing and imposing. However, this is where my praise of it ends. So in typical McFarlane fashion, there are only 2 colors on the rifle, with the silver areas only covering a pitiful amount of space. These small areas are way too anemic to do the heavy lifting of trying to break up the black void that is the rest of the sniper rifle. However, this does not deviate from what has been established by McFarlane in the past. In fact, it may actually be a step up from an entirely monochrome bolt pistol. Just like with any McFarlane Space Marine backpack, it is made of only a single color, as you can see here, and unadorned with any kind of purity seals or iconography to amp up this otherwise barely edible backpack. The biggest difference from this backpack from the others is obviously this thin piece of camo cloth that is made of the same polyester type material. This cloth is secured to the backpack with these plastic straps. I, however, like the cloak, really like the choice of the dark camo color that serves to bind the whole look of a sneaky sniper. And the final thing that this action figure comes with is kind of like a trading card that describes who and what the Eliminator stand for. So that is it for the in-depth review, and even though we know what McFarlane stands for, still have to conclude this video. So after the review, there are really no surprises from McFarlane, which is basically you get a budget figure at a budget price. I really like the construction of the sniper rifle. However, I think that the real star of the show is the cape, which is unfortunate because obviously the cape is in the back, so you'll really never see that much of it. There are some few critiques that I have that I didn't cover on my review. During the B-reel, I found that the joints were rather stiff to operate, especially the elbows, knees, and the ankle joints. I suppose that's a good thing because you know that this action figure will be able to hold its pose over time and not get worn out. Also, unfortunately, the rifle does not sit very well in the Marine's hands. It's too loose and wobbles around too easily. And the final critique is that the backpack does not fit very well in the slot at the back of the Marine. You have to use a lot of force to push this backpack inside of the slot, which is a disappointment. It should just easily slot in with really no effort whatsoever. So at $30, I would definitely recommend this figure. I'm not sure if I would be able to recommend it to you if it's actually any more than that. Otherwise, this serves as a simple figure with minimal painting applied to get a beginner started collecting Warhammer 40K action figures. So thank you for tuning in to this action figure review. I know this is not a Joy Toy action figure, which most people are probably interested in, but sometimes we need to mix around a little bit. But I do appreciate you joining me on the review as well as supporting this channel. Each and every single one of your comments, likes, as well as views help out the channel very, very much, and to which I am very appreciative to each and every single one of you. And with that being said, thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.